Alright, so I just got done watching that Avengers Infinity War, and that thing, jeez, I got it tucked up right now. If you come out of that movie and you don't have Nerdwood, Goosebumps, or both at the same time, well, you're obviously not a nerd. Because that movie, to me, was the best movie I have ever seen in my entire life. I cannot wait to see it again. Like, I'm definitely going to see it again this weekend. And then after the second viewing, then I'll determine if I'm going to see it for a third time in the theater. That might be like one of the first DVDs that I actually buy for I can see it again and again. Because there's just so much to see. But enough about the movie. Let's check out some of these toys. Of course, we're doing the bulk review because I want this stack of toys to be empty. And plus, we just need to get through them. So we have this Walgreens exclusive Mr. Fantastic. He looks like a bunch of reused parts with maybe 2 new parts, but either way, he does look cool. I have tons of Mr. Fantastics. This isn't my favorite one, not even by a long shot, but he is a good one. And then you have this Stinger Ant-Man Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack. Now on these Toys R Us exclusive 2-packs, I was like, God, am I going to be able to find these things in the store? Because the store is going out of business. My buddy hooked me up with this one. I walked in the store and this thing was just chilling right on the shelf. And I was like, God, that is crazy. And then it made me think, if the store is going out of business, why would these toy companies be sending them new product? Because they're probably not going to get paid. So were these things just sitting in their warehouse? I also saw a few of those Hydra 2-packs in there. And it's like, well, I already have 3 of those. And they're not really that much. Like, they're still like $35. So if they go down to like 50% off and I run in the store and I see those, I'll go ahead and pick them up. Because I'm not that guy that puts this shit under the panels. Like, that is crazy. I was actually in Toys R Us today, and some guy's like holding a bunch of Transformers. I don't know anything about Transformers. I don't know if they're new or old. And I'm like creeping on this dude, and he's like walking around the store picking up panels, and there's actually toys underneath the panels, which is, that's just pathetic, guys. It's just, I don't understand it. If you want it, buy it. If you don't have the money for it, put it back on the shelf where somebody else can buy it, because like, are you putting it under the panel and waiting for it to go like 75% off, and you're going to go back there and pick up the panel, blow off the dust, and take it up to the register? That shit's really weird to me. Let's check out these 2-packs and this Mr. Fantastic. Alright, so here they are out of the package, and I just got them kind of lined up just for you to check the scale. As you can see, Vision's standing right about 6 inches tall. Scarlet Witch is about 5 3/4. And then you have Ant-Man, which is slightly above 6 inches. Then you have Stinger down about 5.5. Definitely like the scale on her. And then Mr. Fantastic right about 6 inches tall. Who do we start with? Alright. Let's start with Vision. So when I said we're going to pull out a couple, I obviously lied, because I only have one movie Vision, and he's a bootleg. And he was a pretty good placeholder at the time, but after checking out this new one, wow, that thing, we'll do a side-by-side, but he's not good. I mean, he was only like $15 shipped straight from China. What do you expect? But he did it. He did what he had to do for when he had to do it for. Then you have this Scarlet Witch, and basically, I thought this one was good. This one is definitely better. So basically, you're really paying $40 just for this Vision, which, I mean, come on, man. This stuff's it's gotta end. Looking at this thing overall, the accessories are she gets this little tiny magic effect, which is cool. The old one also has a little tiny magic effect, which is also cool. But for an accessory, God, you guys could do a little bit more. There's no build-a-piece in the package. There's no nothing. It's just that. And then Vision, all he comes with is extra fisted hands, which I'm not going to use anyways because I really like the open hands. I rarely use the fisted hand. Kind of pointless. Like, I mean, am I the only one that feels like they're getting ripped off when they get a 2-pack and that's all you get. When you get a 2-pack with no Build-A-Piece, you should get like some giant accessory for it. It kind of makes up for not getting the Build-A-Piece. Like, guys, wake up. We're getting hustled. Like, doesn't really matter. We're not going to stop buying this stuff. Anyways, let's check out this Vision real quick with the side-by-side comparison with the only other movie Vision that I have, the bootleg. First off, you see the height. This thing is like a 7-inch scale. I don't know how they screwed that up. They didn't even paint the Mind Stone on him. Like, it just weird. I don't know. I think I've already reviewed him. If I did, it was a while ago. But here he is. He has a textured costume. I mean, he was a good placeholder. Side by side. I'm not going to throw him away. He's going on the very back, as far back as one of these shelves. You'll probably never see this guy ever again. Now let's check this one out. This thing, they killed it. I mean, basically you paid $40 for it. Is it worth $40? I don't know about that, but it's a really good toy. The head sculpt on this thing, this thing is perfect, dude. I love them. Like, for Marvel Legends, this is about as good as it gets. Yes, they spent a ton of money on the movie characters versus then they just save tons of money on the comic book characters. But on this thing, I think he's perfect. He's sculpted. Look at all those sculpted lines on his face. Sculpted costume. My God, he's just really good. Same articulation that we're always getting. We still have the big giant pin in the elbows and knees. If they could get rid of that, man, I would be really happy. That would be a huge come up for me. We're not going to go over the articulation because it makes these videos too long. And if you don't know how Marvel Legends articulation works by now, you probably shouldn't even be watching this video. As far as the cape, I love how they did that with the stripes and the texture. And it's kind of like transparent. Really, really well done. Really, man, I love this action figure so much. I think they did a great job. Really digging it. And then we get to the Scarlet Witch. Let me get her out of the little stand here. They will both be in stands before long because this figure doesn't really stand up that well. You're looking at these magic effects. I think both of these magic effects are one-offs. Like, I can't think of any other figures that have these exact effects. As I know, we have lots of fisted flames for like Iron Fist and stuff, but they're different from these. And these things, with that twist around the wrist, God, I love it. So, side-by-side comparison with her, as far as the heads go, I guess I might need to put the hands down. Hold on. Coming down. Because the rest of the figure is basically the same. Let's check out the two. They're still in the way of the camera. Alright, there they are. The one with the brown hair with the rosy cheeks is not bad. It's not horrible at all. I actually thought they did a really good job. This with the white, pale, pasty skin is gorgeous. Like, she looks amazing. I wish the costume was just a little different. I don't think it was any different. Sorry about that. In the movie, so I guess that's why it's exactly the same. If they could have just painted something a little different, like you see the collar's different. The collars are the same, the buttons are the same, the boots, everything is exactly the same. It might be slightly a different color, but who really cares? It's basically just a new head. I was totally cool with this one. I do like this one better, but it's basically I paid $40 just for Vision. And now let's alright, so when I saw they were making a Stinger 2-pack, I was like, sweet, a Stinger, I can finally get a Stinger in my collection. Then I started thinking, wait a second, I'm pretty sure I already have a Stinger in my collection. It might be a 5-inch, but she's a female figure. She's like his daughter. So if she's too small, does it really matter? So, no, I don't think so. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison with the other Stinger, because I don't think there's another YouTuber out there that has pulled this thing out. As far as her Stingers go, like you look at the 5-inch one, she's got a little Stinger there, right there on the wrist. They also did one right there on her wrist, so that's cool. They sculpted new hands for it. At least we got the Stingers for Stinger, because if we didn't, that would be a huge letdown. I heard other people complaining about the wings because she only has 2 wings. Well, I only think she has 2 wings. She doesn't have 4 wings like Wasp. So I think the wings are accurate, and I'm glad that she only has 2 wings. We'll take a good look at this figure really quick because I think a lot of you people don't have it. And now, because they've made this other one, you don't need it, so you'll probably never see it again. Here she is, 5-inch line, small figure, goes right in. I mean, it's a dated figure. It's whatever, but I like it, and it's in my collection. And then we have this one. This one is good, but there's a lot of disappointments. One of the big disappointments is the shoulder pad. They didn't even paint that thing silver, probably because the paint would rub off. I don't care. At least paint it. And then if it rubs off, it rubs off. I don't move my action figures much anyways, so I would have been fine with it. If it started to rub off, I'd just stop playing with it. So here's the head sculpt. That thing is actually really nice. The wings are reused. Not a big deal. What did you think? They're going to actually sculpt new wings. One of the flaws, another one of the flaws on the toys, this is two totally different covers. She's not wearing colors. This is supposed to be the same. These aren't socks. That's, I don't know. If you didn't do the thigh cut there and it was just all one color, like, it would be cool. Like, you can clearly see that it's two different colors, and it kind of looks like a different color how it goes up into the body. Not real sure what's going on there. That's about it. She's not real exciting. No accessories. Like, could you imagine like a little stinging effect or something? God, just come on, man. Care a little bit. Give us just a little bit more. As far as the Ant-Man goes, I gotta be honest. I don't know who's Scott and I don't know who's Hank, so I'm gonna pull them all out. That's why we did her separate, because I got so many of these things. That's gonna take up this whole little area here. Let's get to it. Okay, so before we get into this Ant-Man / Giant Man / Scott Hank, I'm not sure which one is Scott and which one is Hank. I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you're going to let me know in the comments. But I always forget of things to say when I get to the next video, and I'm like, oh man, I should probably go back. On this figure, she used to actually like be big, like one of these Giant Mans back here. Then she died, they bring her back, and now she's small. If you're going to do it like, if you're going to give me a stinger, give me like the giant one, which of course you know that's not going to happen, because that actually might cost some money. But if you're going to give me the small one, or the big one for that matter, give me a little mini version of her, because how cool would it be to get a stinger this size? Like, we'll get her out of here, then we can focus on the Giant Man. I just want to say, like, how much does this cost to throw this in the package? Because if you throw something like this in the package, okay, I'm totally satisfied. You gave me an accessory. It's an accessory that I love. What does this thing cost? Like 5 cents? Like, let's be real here. It's tiny, it's cool, and I love it. Go ahead and set him back down. I'll kind of go over just to show you my Giant Man collection. I do have a wasp in his hand. It's up here. Not to turn this into a wasp collection, but I just thought that was really cool. And when you guys are saying, hey, they're bringing back the big Build-A-Pieces, big Build-A-Figures, no, not really. This is a big Build-A-Piece. He's like standing like 14 inches tall. That's big. Now that's how it's done. That's how it used to be done before they duped us and they said plastic was expensive, which we all know that's a lie, because we throw water bottles away non-stop all day long. And then coming down here, you have more Giant Man, Goliath, Ant-Mans, just all kind of mixed in. You got this one, I kind of put them in order as much as I could as far as the costumes matching. They go like this and then shrinks all the way down to that little guy. And here's some more cool accessories that they could have did. Hey, maybe throw some ants in the package. Just, you couldn't throw in some ants that you've already used that you got laying around, just to kind of make us feel like we got our money's worth just a little bit. No, couldn't do it. There's a new one. We'll get to him done. We'll get to him in a minute. Then you have this one. And then once again, like, he all the way up, about 12.5 inches tall, shrinks down. There's no like tiny mini version of him, which that's kind of sucks, but whatever. Then you have the one that's like a Comic-Con exclusive. This thing's actually cool. He actually has a suit underneath the trench coat, which is a nice little touch. And then they go big. Like, all these things are like repaints and repaints and more repaints, and I was like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Like, I couldn't get enough. Then you come down here, and then it basically shrinks all the way down to this guy. I know this guy has a helmet, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I definitely wanted to pull him out and show him off. This is Ant-Man to me. Like, I like these little Ant-Mans way better than like the 6-inch scale ones. And then on the 5-inch one, I think this is like from the 5-inch toys, because I have all the 5-inch toys, so it's nice to pull them out on occasion. As far as Ant-Man and Wasp go, I stole all those out of the collection, then I put them in the 6-inch collection. Then this was an accessory. Now this is a cool accessory while we're talking about accessories. This is a little ship. This is like from the cartoon. Opens up the hatch. Hopefully I won't break it. And then my little Ant-Man falls right out. Put him back in. Basically, it's this guy shrunken down. Now how cool is that? Like, you give me this ship and you give me a little man to go in it. Let me get him close to the camera. And he's articulated. Like, I think he's articulated. Don't make me a liar. Let's see. Okay, his legs move. His arms move. I don't think the head moves. Like, just stop and think about this for a minute. They gave us this guy. He's articulated. He comes with the ship. He basically looks just like this guy. And he's articulated. This is like what? Let me see. Legs move together. So 1, 2, kind of 3 points for articulation. Hey, I'll take it. I think they did a great job. That thing is really cool. They even like painted the belt yellow to match the other one. Definitely love that. That's a really cool accessory to me. Really enjoy it. And then we also have this one, which he also has articulation, which is really nice. And then you have the new one that comes in the 2-pack, and all he does is come with the Stinger. No accessories whatsoever, no mini version, no ants, no nothing. I do really like this figure, though. I think he's really cool, and they did a great job. Is he just a reuse, a repaint? Yeah, but they put enough parts on it to where it looks like a new figure to me. I think pretty sure these knees are new. The belt is definitely new. This thing is like sculpted on. It's not like glued on, so maybe the whole thing is new. As far as these lines go, it looks like they're sculpted on, but they're just painted on. And normally I'm not cool with that, but I am this time for some reason. I actually think it looks pretty cool. So there's no mask, no unmasked, no nothing, no accessories. He is a cool toy. I love this Ant-Man, and the fact that he comes with the new Stinger, it was something that I had to get on my shelf. The legs, like, here's one thing that really bothers me about these toys is when they do the line here and you can't move it like this to get the feet right, or you move this to get the feet right. It doesn't, I don't know, it's that bothers me. That and the shoulder is so loose, it feels like it's getting ready to fall off. Here he is. I think he's cool. All right, now we'll get to this Mr. Fantastic. When they were making Mr. Fantastic, I was like, God, like, how cool would the set be if they actually had like a Build-A-Piece in them? Because they keep hustling us on these Walgreens exclusives with little to no accessories and no Build-A-Piece. The figure is cool. I do like it. I went ahead and pulled out the Mr. Fantastic collection as far as the comic book section goes. Whenever it's comic book, I try to pull out the comic book collection. Then when it's movie, I try to pull out the movie. I'll probably put a little picture of the movie, Mr. Fantastic's at the end of the video because they actually made some really cool ones. So let's look at these other ones before we get into him. First off, this is like a really old one. He came with a jacket. Wouldn't it have been awesome if they would have taken the same jacket, put it on this? It would have been a nice little option. That option didn't happen. Then you have this one, which I know this one definitely looks dated, really dated. But could you imagine if they gave us hands like this instead of hands like this? And when you're like, God, these hands are really cool. And then you look at the one right behind it and you're going, wait a second. Those arms look really familiar. We'll do a side-by-side comparison and see if they're the same exact ones. I'm thinking they are. If you're going to use the same exact ones, give me these ones again with this giant hand and this giant fist. That is cool. The rest of that toy, not that cool. And back in the day, this was called an accessory, the ship. Like, God, you give me a ship for an accessory? That's how it's done. Not to mention that thing is really cool. Or you give me a ball of Mr. Fantastic. That's also a cool accessory. Now you give me like the, hope I don't butcher this, the Ultimate Nullifier. I'm probably saying it wrong. And once again, you guys will probably like sound it out for me in the comics. I don't know how you do that, but you do. And I read it and then I actually know what it's called. That thing is really cool. It's like one of the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. Could you imagine if they had that to fight Thanos? Hint, hint. God, that would be cool to put the Fantastic Four and maybe even Silver Surfer in there to rip off a glove real quick. Could happen. Probably won't. But there is at least a chance now. Then you go to this one, still by far my favorite Mr. Fantastic. Out of all the Mr. Fantastic, that is how it's done. That toy is amazing. I love it. I love everything about it. He's really, God, he's just Mr. Fantastic perfection. Let's go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison with these two just to see if they are the same arms. And they're not. What? Okay, so they look real, like they're like the same but different. Like, look at that. It's like the same pose, same everything, but it's obviously a different arm. Same thing on this one. It's like the fingers are exactly the same. Man, that is really crazy. That's, God, I thought for sure that was the same. Well, kind of eating my words on that one. Let's go ahead and check out this ship. Really cool, just because this thing, if you don't have it, it's amazing. Look inside. Like, look at the detail. That little lever with the gears on there. The seat folds up. Come on. Then you can like stand in there or sit in there. Look at the paint on that. God, this is such an amazing toy. All these colors faded in and out. Love it. This is an accessory. Not that I don't like this one. I'll let him hold it instead of me holding it. His hands are a little bit smaller, and they definitely don't look like construction hands. That thing, that's an accessory now. Looks great, cool, glad I have it. Think it was cool that they put it in there. This action figure, I love it. I think the torso is new on that. These arms are definitely new. I was thinking the arms were reused, but I got proved wrong on that one. I actually proved myself wrong on that one. I love this action figure. I think they did a great job on him. Why couldn't they throw in a Johnny Storm head with this? I would have bought two. I'm sure you would have bought two because we already have the other arms. No, I don't. Is anybody using these? I know I'm not. I would have if you would have put a Johnny Storm head in there, and I would have bought two. That would have been really cool, but I don't know why you didn't do that, man. I think you guys could have actually doubled your sales on that if you would have did it. Here he is, Mr. Fantastic. There's my Mr. Fantastic comic book collection. That's the end of the video. I'll put some pictures at the end. Thanks for watching.